Two stabbing attacks in 24 hours leave a pregnant woman moderate to seriously wounded and another dead as a manhunt is underway for an attacker. China's foreign ministry says President Xi Jinping's visit to the Middle East this week will have a, quote, significant and profound impact. Gun control and health care feature largely in the final Democratic presidential debate before the Iowa primary. Welcome to I-24 News. We're broadcasting live from Tel Aviv. I'm Jordana Miller. A terrorist has struck in the settlement of Tekoa, south of Jerusalem. A pregnant woman in her 30s who was stabbed multiple times in the chest is fighting for her life in moderate to serious condition. The Palestinian assailant was shot and taken to the hospital. He's been moderately injured. A short while ago, we spoke with Yoni Yagodovsky, spokesman for the ambulance service.
The woman was stabbed in the upper part of her body. She was treated by our paramedics and emergency medical technicians at the scene and was evacuated to the Shaarei Tzedek Medical Center in Jerusalem. They described her medical condition as moderate to severe after receiving the treatment at the scene.
A short while ago, we were joined by our correspondent Shai Ben Ari, who elaborated on the latest stabbing attacks.
Just a short while ago, less than an hour ago even, in the settlement of Tekoa, south of Jerusalem, and also a very similar sort of play out to this attack. We're talking about an assailant who basically managed to break into some sort of clothing warehouse in the settlement and began stabbing a pregnant woman, also in her 30s. She is said to be in moderate condition already at hospital in Jerusalem. He was shot by someone who was armed at the scene, apparently some sort of security guard, who basically managed to shoot the attacker. He is said to be in critical condition and also receiving treatment from Israeli medics who arrived on the scene. Maybe indeed a concerted effort to actually change the sort of pattern of attacks, but it's a little speculative at this stage. There is a lot of controversy when you talk about the Palestinian society and the discourse happening inside it regarding what happens to Palestinian attackers after the attacks take place. There's a lot of controversy over the fact that they are stripped and searched, which of course is done because of security needs. But this is the kind of discourse that you see in Palestinian society, and a lot of times this discourse contributes to further violence.
Now to a story in Iraq. The U.S. Embassy in Baghdad has confirmed that several Americans have been kidnapped there. Unconfirmed reports from Iraqi security circles said 3 Americans and an Iraqi translator were seized on the southern side of Baghdad. But U.S. officials did not say how or where they were seized. A short while ago, we spoke with defense and government analyst Amir Oren on the incident.
It's very significant, even though the Americans are dubbed contractors. They are not diplomats, they are not government officials. But nevertheless, we know from past experience, especially in places like Libya, that contractors could be another name for security personnel. They are employed by private companies, but they work with the U.S. government, and usually they are former special forces operators. So if there are negotiations to release them, it could be very embarrassing and perhaps costly for the Obama administration.
Chinese President Xi Jinping is set to visit Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Iran this week. It's a sign that he perhaps intends to play a more dominant role here in the Middle East. I-24 News reporter Danny Swibel has the story.
Chinese President Xi Jinping is set to make a visit to the Middle East on Tuesday that will have a significant and profound impact on relations between China and the region. The first leg of Xi's visit will take him to Saudi Arabia, where he will meet with King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. Saudi Arabia has served as China's biggest crude oil supplier and its most important trade partner in the West Asian and North African region.
During his visits to Saudi Arabia, Iran, and Egypt, President Xi Jinping will exchange in-depth views on bilateral relations and important international and regional issues with leaders of the 3 countries.
President Xi will then head to Egypt to meet Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and take part in activities commemorating the 60th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between the two. Iranian President Hassan Rouhani, days after sanctions against Tehran had been lifted after the successful implementation of its nuclear-related commitments, expressed his high expectations for the Chinese president's final leg of his trip to Iran on Sunday, as China is Iran's biggest trading partner.
We could not forget our friends who have helped us during the difficult days as we suffered sanctions. Now everything is ready for us to further enhance our relations with those countries which had maintained economic relations with us no matter how hard it was.
China, who has mostly relied on the region for oil, has mostly left Middle Eastern diplomacy to the other 4 permanent members of the UN Security Council, the United States, Britain, France, and Russia. This latest visit by the Chinese president may be a step to alter that.
The final Democratic presidential debate before the Iowa primary quickly turned personal Sunday as Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton traded barbs on gun control and health care. Clinton is leading in nationwide polls, but Sanders is still a threat in key states. ABC News has the story.
Just 2 weeks before the voting starts in Iowa, the 3 Democratic presidential candidates sparred on stage in South Carolina, with former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley giving his all to stay alive.
Join me in putting forward a plan to move us to a 100% clean electric energy grid by 2050.
Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders are now in a tight battle to win the first Democratic contest. And on this night, the first issue tackled, gun control.
He has voted with the NRA, with the gun lobby, numerous times. He voted against the Brady bill 5 times.
Secretary Clinton knows that what she says is very disingenuous. I have a D- voting record from the NRA.
The exchanges heated at times, discussing the economy and health care.
I want us to defend and build on the Affordable Care Act and improve it.
My proposal: provide health care to all people, get private insurance out of health insurance.
But the two also remaining civil, finding common ground on other issues.
There needs to be a concerted effort to address the systemic racism in our criminal justice system.
Whenever anybody in this country is killed while in police custody, this should automatically trigger a U.S. Attorney General's investigation.
Earlier, we spoke with Sheldon Shore, spokesperson for Democrats abroad in Israel, about the heated race within the Democratic Party and last night's debate.
I think that this was a debate on the issues. I've heard it said that it wasn't as exciting as the Republican debate. But the Republican debate was ad hominem. You heard guys like Trump saying that I'm a strong candidate and Jeb Bush is weak, or I'm smart, this guy is stupid. You know, that sort of stuff didn't resonate here. They were talking about the issues. They did attack each other. I mean, Hillary Clinton did attack Bernie Sanders, saying that he was weak on gun control, that he flip-flopped, that he was supporting the gun manufacturers, and then he would go back against her. But they were talking about issues and statements that they made, and not saying that you're stupid or you're weak.
Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe congratulated Taiwan President-elect Tsai Ing-wen on Monday for her victory in the election. Tsai and her independent-leaning Democratic Progressive Party won a convincing victory in both presidential and parliamentary elections on Saturday.
With regards to the victory of President-elect Tsai Ing-wen, I would like to offer my heartfelt congratulations. I hope our two countries will be able to further enhance bilateral cooperation and human interaction in the future.
David Bowie's greatest hits rang out in London on Sunday as fans gathered for a tribute concert 1 week from the pop icon's death. Starman, a celebration of David Bowie, was held at the Union Chapel in North London, which regularly hosts concerts and performances. Attended by 900 fans in the pews, the 4.5-hour event began with a karaoke version of Starman, sung wholeheartedly by Bowie devotees, young and old alike.
David Bowie to me is, the Starman. He was my 70s, 80s, and my 90s. And so just, when he passed, a book closed, and suddenly I could see, how influential he was and how inspiring he was. He loved rock and roll, he loved soul, he loved gospel, he loved the written word, and he loved performance.
He's had a lot of influence on my life in ways I don't actually expect. So the songs are extraordinary. They go all the way back to my school days, and they still live with me now, and they kind of bring a real sense of passion and imagination, and the way in which I kind of see the world through David's eyes has been amazing.
Thanks for joining us. Stay tuned for more headlines in 20 minutes. I'm Jordana Miller.